Recently I made a video that showed a 2004 Tahoe I'd purchased that had been damaged. I was buying it for the engine and transmission, and I was going to scrap the rest of the vehicle and hopefully come out with a free engine and transmission out of the deal. Made another video, a short one, that showed how to remove the electric seat from a vehicle that didn't have power, and that was from that Tahoe, because after pulling the engine and transmission and the battery and all the electrical stuff, getting the seats out was going to be a challenge, and I showed you how to do that. Well, now since we've gotten the seats out, I'm going to show you what else I'm going to have to do. I noticed that the driver's seat sagged a bit, and let me show you what I found. Okay, this is the passenger seat. You can take a close-up and see this is what it looks like on the bottom. Okay, let's take a look at the driver's seat. Oh, there's the shop cat. Okay, you can see that the spring in it is destroyed. It's broken here at the bottom. All the little wires are loose. No wonder the thing sags so bad. Well, after doing some research, I found that that part is replaceable. So I bought one off of Amazon. Excuse me, kitty. And here's the new one. Pretty nice. 18 bucks off of Amazon. So, my project for today is to show how to change this spring out. I've never done this before, so this will be a first for me. A couple things I did ahead of time was I removed the side trim panel that has the switch. It goes like that. There's 5 screws that hold that on. This electrical connection on the inside, it's pretty hard to get to because it is, there it is. Okay, it's pretty hard to get to because it's really close to the plastic. So to get it off, I had to remove these three small screws here to get this switch off in order to get the electrical connection off. Then I put this back. And there's a couple of the little plastic pieces here that had cracked or were broken, and I used some plastic weld to try to repair those. I went ahead and attached the switch back in place, and there are the 5 screws that hold it in. So let's start taking this apart. Alright, to begin with, there are several electrical connections that have to be removed. These 2 motors over here, the connection is right up here into the frame of the seat. I took that out. There's another one right over here on the side of the frame. I took that one out. And of course we disconnected the side switch. So there's 2 nuts up here at the top. I'm going to remove those, and at the bottom there's not nuts, there's just clips. So that once we remove these 2 nuts, this should slip off. Let's see how easily that actually happens. Okay, this comes out. Looks like it's only held in. I got a wiring harness here. I'm going to have to remove. Looks like all the way around. Disconnected on this side. Maybe able to leave it in. Yeah, I think that's possible. Let me pause it just a moment and get this off, and I'll show you what I had to do in order to do that. Okay, we got it out. That just took a couple more moments. The main harness down here that was in the bottom of the frame. It was mounted over here. So that pulled through. The only other attachment point was this little plug right here, and that is this wire right here on the side, on the inside next to the console. So disconnecting that and disconnecting the main harness from the base of the seat that mounts to the bottom right here. And there was one more on the side that allowed this entire bottom to come out. So at this point we're going to have to remove the fabric, and I'm going to position this back on the tripod and work on that, 'cause it's going to take 2 hands. Okay, well, this all just clips on, so I need to remove that. I need a trim tool, which I've got right here. Actually, I don't think I need to take that off. Let's see if I can do this. Yeah, that'll go underneath. Be careful working around these wires here, because they are sharp. Okay, that should allow this to take off. I guess if you really needed to replace your seat foam, now would be a good time for that. Just kind of work it around all the way. Let's see. Okay, I can see what's going on. There's 1, 2, 3, 4. Looks like all the springs are there. You have to get this out, and this is clamped down, so we're going to take this off on this side. Velcro in here. The seat cushion velcros to the foam. There's the cushion off. The foam just kind of pulls away from the frame. There we go. Start from the front. Yeah, it just kind of pulls away if you start from the front. Leave the springs in place. Okay, you see the front. Make sure I'm getting this on there. In the front, there are some tabs right here that you can see that this fits behind like this, and you're supposed to bend these around a little bit to hold it in place. And then the back is just held in by the springs. Put this up for a little better contrast. You can see the condition that's in. Alright. Let's take this brand new one, put it in place. Looks like exact same size. Okay, it's hooked around these 4 hooks. Yeah, that's the cat in the background. There's a bird he can't get to. Okay, now we just got to slip these springs onto this and tighten these down a little bit, knock them down as they say, and then put it back together. That should be it. Let's see. Use a screwdriver for that. This is also a good time to examine the seat frame to see if it's broken or bent. And this side actually is. Take a look at this. The actual seat frame is cracked. You can see where it's broken right here, and it's cracked right here. So what I'm going to do is kind of put this down a little bit, get it, bend it into the correct shape, and then I'm going to use my welder, and I'm just going to put some spot welds on this and this to maintain its shape. Here's the other side. You can see how it looks. It looks fine. It's not bent or cracked, but that side sure is. The cat is doing everything he can to help. He really is kind of camera shy. Okay. One more spring. All right, seat frame's back in place. Rather than beating into submission, well, I'm going to try to use this. I may have to. All right. These tabs I'm going to bend over. Okay, the seat frame is taken care of with the springs, but now we're going to have to fix this area here. And I can see when I put tension with this, with the springs, I can see why this broke. Try to bend it into shape a little better. Okay, it's good there. Once I put a few spots on this, then I will tap this back into place and put a couple spots right there. So let me get my welder, I'll be right back. Okay, I've put the frame on my welding cart, or my welding table, I should say. The material you see behind it is a welding blanket, so that'll protect the foam from the heat, any kind of sparks. I'm going to zoom in a little closer. I've got the inside of the frame together pretty well. At least it's not like a body panel, so I'm going to put some spot welds on that. It looks pretty good. Okay, I'm going to tap this closer together and then we'll put a spot on that. There's a slight gap there. We'll see if we can bridge that. Well, we're not. We're making it worse. We're going to need a small piece of metal to put in there. Okay, I found a little piece of metal. Kind of like a piece of a coat hanger, kind of. Some filler. I'm going to have to tack it in there and then I'll grind it just a little bit. This isn't an area like on a body where it's got to be perfect. I just want it to be together so that there's no more stress in that area that continues to crack. That looks like it'll work pretty well. Not beautiful. A grinder can make that right. That'll work. Got the seat back on the work table now. This area's been welded, so it's repaired. Frames in place, the springs. Now we can put the foam back around here. Make sure it's in all the right areas. And then we'll put the seat cushion back on. Pretty simple, so to speak. Okay, let's see. Get that out of here. Let's start with this. It's got a plastic trim here that goes right across the metal. Just get that lined up. It's only going one way. You gotta draw your Velcro in here. Make sure that lines up properly. Have to kind of work with it, wrestle with it a little bit. But it goes back on. Stretch it. To the frame. Frame's pretty heavy. Feed this wiring device back to the bottom. There's all tabs down here. There we go. Maybe a little too much. Back on. Okay, tighten those back. Make sure the harnesses are go to the right things. Okay, then the wiring connections. There's the top one. It's a little small one here on the side. And the side one over here. This goes to the trim. More slack it. I really don't have any more slack. Okay, it's in place. Put it back in place. That's back in place. This one's snapped in. Okay. That one's back in place, so all of our connections are made. And as a final shot, here's the look at the bottom now. See, the grid's in place, it's intact, everything looks good. Just gotta screw this trim panel back on the side. Looks good. Feels good. Back like new. All right, I guess that completes this project. I hope you learned something from it. And if you got a sagging seat, you can fix it yourself, and it's not expensive to do. Just takes a little time. I found my part on Amazon for $18. All right, thanks again. See you next week.